Mixed seafood pasta. Words cannot describe how beautiful a dish this is. I'm not gonna need words because you're gonna see it in no time. First thing I'm gonna do is start cooking the seafood. I have a mix of regular peeled shrimp, some sliced calamari, and this is a little indulgent. This dish calls for it. Some cut up pieces of lobster. I'm gonna sprinkle the seafood with salt and pepper. And I started with a pretty hot skillet, and it had a little oil and butter in there. The butter was almost starting to turn a little brown, so that's gonna help the fish get some great color in a really short amount of time. I don't have to cook it all the way through at this stage. I'm gonna take it out and then it'll cook in the sauce eventually. Okay, that's about halfway cooked, so I'll go ahead and take it out of the skillet. It didn't get fully cooked, and it doesn't need to. It smells so amazing. Oh my, oh my. I wanna leave some of the juices in the pan, and I'll let the fish sit while I move on with the sauce. I've got some really finely diced red onion, and it's just gonna go right in with all that yummy seafood flavor, and some minced garlic. And then I have a few more things to add. A couple tablespoons of capers. Capers is one of those ingredients that I kind of forget about. I always seem to have it in my pantry, but I just don't remember to use it very often. And anytime I do, I'm always so glad I did. I have some sun-dried tomatoes that are chopped, and then some beautiful thyme and rosemary leaves. Okay, now I'll stir this around. These onions are diced so fine that it's not gonna take long at all for them to soften. So I'm gonna deglaze the pan with some white wine. Probably about half a cup or so. Wine in a skillet with garlic is just heaven. This skillet was so hot that that wine just started reducing almost immediately. So now I can add the cream. Yes, this is a creamy seafood pasta, and I am adding a very generous amount. You can add between a cup and 2 cups, just depending on how creamy you like your sauce. And I'll season this with salt and pepper. Look at the color of this with those sun-dried tomatoes and capers. Just wait till you see the finished dish. I'm gonna let this cook for another 4 minutes while the sauce thickens. So this is the perfect time to add the seafood, and you'll notice all those juices are dripping off the plate. You don't want any of that flavor to go to waste. Okay, I think by the time I've got everything else stirred in, that seafood's gonna be done. So I'm gonna keep moving forward. Instead of a bed of spinach, I'm gonna put spinach in the dish itself. It takes no time for spinach to wilt. So I'll just give it a little stir in the sauce. And then, of course, to finish things off, I'm gonna grab the pasta. It is perfectly cooked by now. So it goes right on top of the spinach. Okay, now I'll turn off the heat. I'm gonna zest in a little bit of lemon. The flavor is just everywhere you turn in this dish. Lemon always brightens up a seafood dish. It's always a good idea. I have some minced parsley, and I'll sprinkle it on, along with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And it's the moment of truth. Time to toss all of this together. Get underneath there and pull the seafood up to the top, and just keep tossing until you see all the elements of the dish. And I just can't emphasize enough how delicious it smells. I'll grab the lemon, and I'm gonna do lemon, parsley, and Parmesan right on top. And this is definitely one of those dishes you can serve right out of the skillet. Okay, the rest of the lemon zest, and more parsley, and a little more Parmesan. Okay, I'm making shrimp scampi stuffed shells. We'll have a pan of it for dinner tonight, and then I'll put the second pan in the freezer, and we'll whip it out whenever we need it. I'm gonna let this keep cooking, and I'm gonna drain the pasta shells. I've been boiling 12 ounces of jumbo pasta shells, the kind that you wanna fill with all sorts of goodness. I need the shells to cool just a little bit before I stuff them, so this is a good time to do that. I've got 2 pounds of shrimp. I want the pieces of shrimp to be small and bite-sized. So I'll start to stir the shrimp, and then I'll add a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Now I'm gonna add a little liquid to the pan, just a splash of white wine. You gotta have wine with shrimp scampi. It's a rule. And a squeeze of lemon juice, not too much. I'm gonna give this a little sprinkling of salt and pepper. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heat off because this shrimp is done. And I'm gonna pour this whole mixture onto a plate. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat back on, grab some butter, and I'm gonna start on the white sauce. I'll put 8 tablespoons of butter into the pan to melt, then add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, whisk it in, and cook it for 3 minutes. Next, I'll pour in 4 cups of whole milk and 2 cups of heavy cream, whisking constantly and cooking until it's thickened. The sauce is looking lovely and thick, so I'm gonna add more garlic to the mix. I use the first half on the shrimp, and the other half is going into the sauce. And then I'll add some minced parsley and salt and pepper. I love any creamy pasta dish. Okay, I'll stir this. Ooh, it's just glorious. Okay, I'm gonna let this simmer, keep getting more and more flavorful, and I'm gonna mix up the cheese mixture for the filling. It starts with ricotta cheese. I like to use whole milk. And then 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. I let it soften so it'll be easy to mix it all together. I'll add a cup of parmesan and then a beaten egg to hold everything together. And the filling needs a little salt and pepper and parsley in here too. I like how you just keep layering in the flavors in all the different components. I'm gonna add every last bit of the shrimp. All right, now I'm gonna stuff the shells. First thing I'll do is put a little bit of this sauce in the bottom of the baking dish. For dinner tonight, I'm using a ceramic dish. For the freezer dish, I'm gonna use a foil pan. You want them to be full enough that it almost looks like it's about to pour out. And I'm gonna top the shells with more sauce. There is sauce everywhere you turn in this dish. You wanna add enough that it's just filling the pan. It's all around the sides. And then I've gotta add some more cheese, mozzarella this time. Pan 2 is destined for the freezer. So sauce, stuffed shells, more sauce, mozzarella, and that's it. So this is for a future dinner, and this is for tonight. I'm gonna get it into a 375-degree oven for 25 minutes, and that's all there is to it. Creamy lemon pasta with steak and lobster. So I added some butter to a pretty hot skillet, and I just added some lobster meat. It's claw and knuckle meat, and it just looks amazing. It's all I can do not to just reach in here and go for it. So the point here is not to cook the lobster because actually the lobster is already cooked. I just need to heat it up and sort of get it coated in that butter. And now I'm gonna add a little more butter to the pan. I had a mixture of butter and olive oil to put the lobster in. Okay, so I'm gonna crank up the heat and I'm gonna grab the beef, which is, because it's a special occasion, beef tenderloin, which...
Oh, wow!
Nice.
Stop.
That's just the kind of reaction I look for in a crew member of this cooking show. So I've got not too much because tenderloin is a very expensive cut of meat. And I'm gonna grab some lemon pepper seasoning since it's kind of a lemon vibe in the pasta. But I just wanna cook these chunks to medium rare. It's gonna take a couple minutes. The tenderloin's gonna rest, and by the time the pasta's ready, it is going to be absolutely perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna make the sauce right in the same skillet. I've got finely diced shallots and minced garlic, some red pepper flakes. Woo!
Whoa.
Oops. Minced oregano and thyme. Woo, it's popping. And then I'm gonna stir this around to release the magic. Okay, so I'm gonna move forward with this delicious pasta sauce. I'm gonna add quite a bit of wine. Woo, that is some brown butter sauce there. All right, so this has reduced just a little bit, and I'm adding some cream
Oh my gosh.
and quite a bit of lemon zest. Now I'm just gonna let this thicken up and reduce for probably just a minute because this pan is so hot. And after that, we'll pull this pasta together. Okay, and then whenever I make a pasta sauce, I always reserve a little bit of the pasta water and just pour it in just to give it a little bit of thinness so it doesn't get too gloopy. So for the pasta itself, I'm using angel hair, which I think is so good with any light creamy pasta because it just kind of coats the noodles. It's already cooked, standing by, and then I'm just going to toss it.
Whoa.
Baby.
Ree,
Check it
you've done
out.
it again.
Okay, and then normally I'd squeeze a lemon over, but I just went ahead and juiced a lemon. I'm just gonna kind of pour a little bit of juice, but it looks better when you squeeze a lemon. And then lots of parsley all over. So there's the turf. And then look at this glorious lobster, you guys.
It looks so good, Mom.
This has Alex and Mauricio written all over it. I'm gonna show you how to make creamy shrimp pasta. It is absolutely amazing, and hopefully it'll tide me over till I can get across the pond to Italy. All right, I've just been frying some colossal shrimp in a little olive oil and butter. I just sprinkled them with salt and pepper, and they are looking amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in the pasta. I'm doing linguini. I know there is a whole lot of Italian food that does not involve pasta, but pasta is certainly my favorite. So this shrimp is pretty well cooked. I got it nice and brown around the edges. And you don't want to overcook shrimp because it can get tough and a little bit rubbery. So I'm going to get it out. And I'm going to go ahead and make a delicious creamy sauce. And it's got all of those shrimp flavors in the bottom of the pan, so it is just going to be marvelous. All right, I'll let the shrimp hang out. I'll be back. And then I'm going to scrape all this deliciousness right into the skillet. I've got some garlic, some finely minced shallot, or you could just do red onion if you like, and some fresh rosemary chopped really, really fine. All right, now I've got a couple of other ingredients, some capers and sun-dried tomatoes. And then I'll just stir this around. I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of salt and pepper. Oh my gosh, I love everything in this pasta. You know, Lad and I have been married almost 30 years, and I will say we have not done a lot of traveling. We had one excuse after another as to why we couldn't start traveling yet. But I think we're getting a little closer to wanting to take that plunge. Our 30th anniversary is a couple years away, so Paige is really lobbying for us to start planning that now. She knows if we don't lock in the flights and hotels that we probably won't make it, so I'll keep you posted. All right, I'm just gonna cook this mixture for a couple more minutes. Okay, this mixture is looking amazing, and it's about to get more amazing with a little bit of white wine. A little bit is a relative term. And I'll also add some vegetable stock, but you can also do chicken stock if you prefer. And what makes it creamy is cream. And it doesn't take too much. I'm just adding about half a cup each of the wine, stock, and cream. So I'm gonna add a little more pepper to the mix. That pasta is gonna be ready in no time. So if I play my cards right, this sauce is gonna get bubbly right when the pasta is ready. Okay, that is all mixed together. So I can add in the shrimp. You don't want to add the shrimp too early because again, you don't want it to overcook while the sauce thickens. I'm also going to add some chopped spinach and basil leaves. Just gonna mix it in with the spinach. And then I'll toss this together, and I mean, it's so simple. Did you see how fast that came together? It's just amazing. Oh my gosh, this looks incredible. Not as incredible as I'm sure it's going to be when Lad and I finally set foot on Italian soil. But again, I've got a little ways before our 30th anniversary. All right. Now the pasta is ready. I make so much pasta, I can look in and see that it's ready. I have a lot of practice. All right, and then just dump the pasta right in. You don't even have to fully drain it because it's usually nice to have a little pasta water in the mix. And then I'm gonna turn off the heat under the pan and just toss and toss until that luscious, beautiful sauce is positively coating every last noodle. Noodle is not an adequate term to describe what is in this dish. My gosh. The color of this sauce is magical. I think those sun-dried tomatoes really help that along. All right, I'm gonna grab some Parmesan and grate it on in there. Whoops, dropped a chunk. And this is something you can just kind of sprinkle it in the pan, but also you can do it on your plate. And there's really no rule or limit to how much you add. So, I'm gonna serve it up. Oh my gosh, the sauce is so silky and beautiful. Oh, it does not get better than this. All right, oh my goodness. Now all it needs is a couple of basil leaves. I don't know what to say. I can't wait for my trip to Italy. I know the pasta that I'm gonna have over there will make me totally forget this plate in front of me. But for now, this is all I have. Kind of happy about it. One of my favorite dishes in the entire universe is linguini with clam sauce. So I'm gonna do a too tired to cook version of that and make one pot clam spaghetti. Paige, you're gonna fall in love with this. Stu, you're gonna fall in love with this. Of course, that's not saying much because Stu loves everything. But when you are too tired to cook, this is gonna turn into one of your favorite dishes. So one pot pastas are amazing. Basically, you put everything into the pot, almost everything in this case, and then you turn on the heat and let it cook. So I started with a box of whole wheat spaghetti, and then I have a bunch of sliced onions, and they go in. The beauty of these one pot pastas is that you don't have to saute onion and garlic, saute the vegetables, make the sauce. It all gets made in the pot at the same time. So in addition to the onions, garlic, and spaghetti, I'm gonna add a can of clams with the juice because the juice is where a lot of that delicious clam flavor comes from. Now, there are different degrees of quality when it comes to canned clams, so it's always better to use a brand that's a little bit elevated, just, you know, you kind of get what you pay for on that, but it doesn't take much, it's just one small can. So I'm sprinkling in some crushed red pepper flakes, and then some oregano leaves. And just look how cool this is, Paige. And then I'm gonna take this water and pour it in. All right, now I'm gonna add some salt and some olive oil because if I were making linguini with clam sauce and cooking the clams ahead of time, I would do it in a pan with some olive oil. All righty. Turn up the heat and bring it to a boil. Not even gonna stir it because that would be way too much work. Now, the secret to these one-pot pastas is that you wanna have a pan where the pasta can lay flat. You don't wanna have a small pan where you stick the spaghetti because then it just slowly kind of cooks and softens. So bring this to a boil, let it cook for about 10 minutes, and then I'll finish it up. It's going to be spectacular. Okay, Paige, come look at this. So it's been just under 10 minutes, but the liquid has slowly been absorbed by the pasta. It smells so good. I smell the onions and garlic and that kind of briny clam business. All right, so I turned off the heat because I don't want the spaghetti to overcook. And I'm gonna finish this dish and it's gonna be so good. So I'm gonna drop in some butter and just stir it around and just let it become part of that glorious sauce. It's really amazing what a couple of tablespoons of butter will do to a pasta dish like this. It just helps that sauce just kind of come together and it makes it magical. All right, and now about 2 cups of baby spinach. I'm just gonna drop them in. And you obviously wanna add the spinach at the end because if I added it at the beginning, it would just completely fall apart. So fold, look at this. It's so thick. It almost looks like a carbonara, clam carbonara.
Ooh.
That makes no sense. But it's got that sort of thick, glossy look about it. Oh, that looks amazing. And then, of course, we gotta have some Parmesan cheese. I have a funny story about linguini with clam sauce. It's the first thing I ever cooked your dad. And it did not go well. No, he acted like he loved it and he ate it and ate it, but he was just being polite. And he got a phone call in the middle of his dinner that he was eating, and he excused himself because he had to take the call and he was gone for a while, so I filled his plate again. And then when he came back, he had another big mound of linguini with clam sauce. It's one of my favorite stories. And then lots and lots of butter. Lots and lots of black pepper, and lots. As long as you want to stand here and grind in some pepper, you will be very glad you did. I think it needs just a little bit more spinach. And honestly, how easy was that? Just look at how amazing that is.
Yummy.
Oh, I have to take a bite. I want to make sure I'm not steering you wrong. I'm just trying to be responsible. Ooh, ready? Set. My word, that was perfect. Mmm.